Hello all, welcome back to Geek, Feng, Shui. I'm your host and game master, Bob Sellers Jr. Shout out to our friends at Cata Good Brewing here in Castle Manorville, under pressure in Golden Valley, and South by Southeast in beautiful Pine Island. Allergy season is here, as well as Halloween season. Check out these three places I mentioned and others in your area for family, pet, kid fun-friendly environments, and events. Check out their calendars on their respective websites or on Facebook. So the Halloween with World of Warcraft, I'm going to show you. I've been leveling up, transfer couple, so I now have 3 DKs. Green Hornet is my unholy DK. I get my classes. Unholy. He is in blood spec at the moment because we are going to do the Headless Horseman, which is an instance that Blizzard throws up, and you have to be 85 to run it. The quickest way to go in is if you're a tank or a healer, so we're going to do that. You sign up through the, I was going to say, you should take off chaotic, and check out my books. SellersJR.com, my overall website, geekfengshui.com, and of course this channel, which I appreciate if you like, subscribe, and signing the bell. Commentary is also welcome, but it is moderated just to warn those trolls out there. Back to the video. So when you go in once a day, you get a loot-filled pumpkin, which could include the reins for the Headless Horseman's mount. I have that in retail. It's like a 2% drop rate. So if you only have 185, you can do it once a day. If you're like me and have 14, I think now, you can do 14 times a day. And you get rings. So in this case, I have a strength in their 365 level. I realized that you can mix agility and strength, so I can wear both those rings. It's usually about a 10-second or 30-second queue for tank. So I'll do it on Green Hornet, and I'll go over to this Pac-Man, which is my Frost Death Knight. Then I'll do Red Baroness, which is my actual Blood Death Knight. And I'll give you an example of. This is on the Horde side. I've been rearranging my Horde characters. Benediction is my Horde server. So you go through, you click on the pumpkin, and guess who shows up? Egret is our healer. So what happens during the fight is his head will separate 3 times. Just hunt down and kill it before he gets the head back. And basically this tank just kind of holds him in place. And then once he dies, it's a fast fight, and you're guaranteed a ring will drop. Sometimes they're useful, sometimes not. So in this case, we got the stamina and intellect, which I don't need, but if I didn't have 2 of these, the advantage is that it adds gear score for you to do, and then you get your loot-filled pumpkin. In this case, I have a sinister. We only get 1 account per account. And you get a mask, and sometimes you get justice points. Might get those all the time when you start noticing that. So now we'll go over here. So most of my characters have been through it and gotten a ring or two. Sometimes you'll get helmets that'll drop and swords. So my Miss Pac-Man, there's a plate helmet that only other characters get on occasion. I have one that Druid has had dropped twice. It does no good for leatherware, but it's kind of a nice helmet. But I did get the blade, which I'll switch up because I'll switch Miz over when she's on her way to. I don't know if I can do that in midair or not. I have to wait till the end. But she got a the blade drop, which is this sword right here is a Huntsman's signature saber. And then I was doing runs leveling her up, and I got the Sunstrike. So two very good hands because she's a Frost is a dual wield specialty. Going up, she was a miner and a blacksmith, and I realized I don't need two miners when you're going around Uldum. I have Scarlet Fury, my druid, which can do both. So making her the tailor. Well, in order to do tailoring, I need to go farm fabric. I brought I leveled a DK over on White Mane. That's who the Green Hornet is, and brought him over along with a lot of the fabric that I'd stored up because I'm kind of making that just my alliance. I'm going to keep some horde over there, but over here I have some alliance, and the entertaining part of playing in the majority versus the minority is the happenstance of ninja questing. Now, what I mean by that is on a whim, I took one of my characters started leveling outside of Stormwind. And what a ninja quester will do is a hunter or caster of some sort will wait till you're just about to attack something and they'll tag it with an arrow, bullet, or a spell so that by the time you hit it, it's no longer yours. They just sit and let everybody else do the work. It's very annoying. I ran into that early on in the game when it first came out because there's a lot of people playing. That's one advantage of playing in the minorities. You don't run into that like you do. And I don't know what it is about this server, but the Alliance, for the most part, and I'm not all of them, for the most part, are a pain in the butt. On White Mane, my Alliance characters, 95, well, I think I went back and counted 98% of my Ignorless are Benediction Alliance. So there is that. But I've had fun going through. I'm really enjoying Laughing Coffins. They're a fun guild. Some of their high-end raiders may or may not consider moving to a more active raiding server. That does become an issue if you're a hardcore raider. Raiding is not something I do as a practice. It's something I have done, but I don't generally do it. It's not because I don't like raiding, but it's just not my thing. So we got that. Oops. Before I do QS tank, I better change blood. I have raided on whims or when people needed. One of the funnier moments came when I was on back in the days of retail. I was just taking up healing, got this character level up, and I didn't really know what I was doing. And suddenly they were raiding and they needed a healer. And I was like, guys, I don't know what I'm doing. And they said, that's fine, we just need a body. And it's okay. So I went, and of course I didn't do anywhere as good as I could have had I been more experienced. And yeah, I never got asked back. I don't know if they just decided that having that healer body was not as worthwhile as they thought by asking someone. Anyway, the other story I have on raiding is we had a guild that was kind of a casual raiding guild. We would do raids, and not the big bad ones, but I worked with people who were hardcore raiders. I mean, they made it like a second job. And there was one fight we were doing that was not going well for our group. And so I went and was at work. Of course, we're doing it at lunch. And we went out and whiteboarded, if you can believe that, the whole fight and how they approach it, because they had basically what they called on farm, which means basically that they knew how the fight went. And they could do it regularly with decent amount of success. So I studied up, and well, I came back to our guild, and we were raiding with another guild, and the other guild that we were raiding with was more of a hardcore guild. Why this healer is having so much issue? Anyway, when we were having troubles with this fight, I came and said, hey, this is what I learned from some people I work with that do it. Not granted, you gotta admit, I'm the new guy here in their group of doing this raiding, and they have not really run with me before. So as far as they're concerned, I'm a noob, which I was. And here I'm telling them how to fight a fight that they've been having trouble getting to do themselves. And no reigns, but justice points. So I had enough justice points on this character. I got the agility heirloom sword. The only heirloom I have left to get is the cloth shoulders. I have the shoulders heirloom from Wintergrass, which is not bad, but this has been going on since the 18th. It goes through November 1st, so I don't know if today's last article, you could be able to do it tomorrow. But the others, people that run it every day, I have towards the end, but the amount that you get can be seen even though I don't have it. Is this guy, the Headless Horseman's one. I have that in retail, but I don't have it here yet. It's about a 2% drop rate. It only comes out in that loot-filled pumpkin that you can only do once a day. So with any luck, I'm going through all my alliance ones. I won't do that for the whole video. I'm just going to do my 3DKs because they're pretty quick queues. But it's a little nuance that Blizzard does to give 85 something to do. I've been slowly trimming back the horde characters and creating them over here. And as a casual player, I like playing and leveling characters with the knowledge that at some expansion we're going to get to know we'll get Panda eventually, and so I'm not going to fill up my character. I did that by mistake. I don't want to say by mistake, because when I was playing, I didn't know what was coming in the future, like I do now. But, I had to transfer characters or move them, and create room for a new panda character, or even to be able to level them. That's how I got my WoW 2 account, because I wanted to learn how to do pandas for one, for example. And the other, eventually you'll get another one that is the, I'm drawing a blank, it's big winged. It's a race that they made that can fly around a bit. Things that I don't know if they'll do with Classic. It's going to be interesting to see what direction they go in with Classic, and if they're going to do Panda, or the next one up. Demon Hunter is that one race I was trying to think of. I went and logged into Legions. I bought the they had a sale going on the most recent retail, so I upgraded both because it was cheaper than 60-day game time, because it came with 60 days, and at the time of the sale. And so I went in and looked at retail, and they have some new races you can get into. So it's just, someone commented in a video how the new one is more video gamey than MMO, and I can see that when I looked at it a little bit. They upgraded the graphics. Now here, there's a new thing I'll show. I took them out of this. Supposedly you can download the higher graphics. I don't know if I'll ever do that or not, but Discipline Priest, this should be entertaining. Now you might ask, well, how bad are the queues for DPS? DPS queues are like 4 or 5 minutes, because everybody's running these. And there's some people who run them over and over because they want to get the helmet. There's a leather helmet. You can look it up in the drops. There's rings. Like my healers, or casters, I try to get both. There's a intelligence, what I would call a healer caster ring, that you can get one that has spirit, one that doesn't. And again, when you want to do heroics, you have to be a certain gear level. The buff is no longer on because they came out with a recent patch. When Blizzard is coming out with a new release, they will often put out the buff they had was 50% XP above and beyond. So by having heirlooms on characters, so the fight's quick. So I have a 201 strength. It's the Seal of Petrified. And you can only have one anyway, to wear at a time. I want it anyway. And you can't have more of these masks. So you can either delete that one, I can do a couple more on my other 85s. Scarlet Fury is a tank. Tanks and healers are the easiest to get, and that's with my alliance. It's easier to go and so on my horde side, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 85s. None on this side boosted. I had boosted a couple when my birthday was last year on the alliance side. But, Scarlet is my antagonistic druid that farms Uldum and annoys the alliance. That is one thing I enjoy on this server, is taking out AFKers. It is hilarious. If you don't know what an AFKer is on a PvP server, it is really kind of arrogant to kind of go AFK and go off and do something and leave your character within range of the ground, because that means you don't fear anything. I'll come along, and you can usually tell you're just hanging there in space. And what I will do is I'll come in with a caster or something and take him out. There's also the dragon going around. I don't know if he's doing it. I hate that. He drops the fire. Get caught somewhere. Well, anyway, things have quieted down in Whitemane considerably. I went back and was playing. I was leveling a character, my DK up there. And I hardly, on the Horde side, I hardly saw any alliance. And there are alliance in town. They're busier. But it's phenomenally different than the Horde is here on Benediction, or the Alliance is here on Benediction, because it's just uber crowded. And I don't know if that'll taper off when they have newer stuff come out or not, but even the other people in the guild comment about the Benediction Alliance are. I'm going to let the Alliance Druid go get that. So one thing with mining is you can't stay in flight form to do it. It's annoying. Herbing you can, because you don't have a pickaxe, which I guess is why they say you can't do it in flight form. I'll come along here. There's a I am Huntard is a hunter that keeps trying to annoy me. I'll get too comfortable watching videos or movies and I won't pay attention to Spy, and occasionally he jumps me and then I go around and annoy him. That's the other intimidating effect, where they'll fly around and wait and try to be in your too close to you just to annoy you. It's like, I'll fly around and get opposite, because I'm so used to the mining spawn rate here. Like, I know there's going to be 2 here that'll spawn. So I'm waiting. So that's one advantage of having a dungeon like this you queue for, is if you have something else to do, you can queue up. I will get back to doing some more leveling guides of sorts. I did figure out, given I was more on the Horde side than the Alliance, but a leveling ideology I have, and with all due respect and apologies to the game designers, there are certain areas of the game I prefer over others. It's a personal preference, nothing against their artwork or game design necessarily. But one of them happens. So when I get a character outside of characters that have to stay in their starting area, I will go level where the outside of, I'll do the first area starting outside of outside of Orgrimmar. Then I'll go to where the Tauren next area is, because they're just smaller areas, easier to do. Orcs, where the orcs level up. It's just a small area, get up to level 5. Now, the thing is, you got to remember, I have heirlooms. So when it was the 50% boost plus the heirlooms, I'd be level 7 or 8 by the time I got on level 5 area. Now, When I go into level, I just have the heirloom benefit, which I can be up level 7 now when I get, or I can be level 7. I used to be almost level 10. So then when I go to do the Torn, the second area, I'll get up to level 10 or 11, then I'll go to Crossroads and get up to level 15, which is where I stop on my character at the moment, because that means I can go off and do instances while I'm leveling. So I recommend, as much as I may not like them, they are beneficial because you get better gear, faster leveling if you mix them in and out. I mean, if you're not tanking or not healing, you have a longer wait, so you can go off and do questing. With a full heirloom set like I have, you still get about 40%, I think 45 if I add it up right, bonus for XP for questing as well as in the dungeons. Intellect. I'll do that because most you don't get in. That's one thing you don't get into a lot of. Well, I may have already had that one. I should have checked on there. This is a mount you can get that is not account bound. Must already have strength, stamina, so I may already have that ring up there. So what I'm going to do in this case is I'll just throw away the loot. But the reason I don't have the other one is I have a 353 agility ring. I have the agility ring here. So we can go out. So I did the 3-day Ks and drew a ghost. I'll go and do Rouge Beef. So these are the two nodes that I was come together here. With my blacksmith in particular, and eventually, one of them must have got it. There it is. I need to get a lot of these to do. We have other armor. Right now I have max blacksmith, max leather working, because Green Hornet is a leather worker, max leather working, max skinning, and I'm making this Pac-Man to do cloth. She already does blacksmithing. And Red Baroness is one of my inscriptionists, and she's also the alchemist, which I have maxed out. So farming here is good for that. And then so I leave jewel crafting and engineering, which I'm going to leave to my newbies leveling up. Try to have one gathering, if not two, because you can always come back at 85 and level up something to create. Rouge here just to top off my 85s on the horde side. Now, Rouge is a healer, so that'll be an advantage you'll get to see. From tanks. She's also an inscriptionist and herber because of Uldum. Druids farm at will in Uldum, particularly Horde Foreign, because they don't drop out of flight form. The nice thing is I can do Tree of Life form. Because healing can become an issue in this fight, as short as it is, because of the different effects and based upon what the other people are. Because I don't think there's a gear score to it, so you can get some people that are pretty lower level gear score taking on the fight. You saw the tank and healer have about the same Q level. Anyway, going back to the story I had about raiding, is we whiteboarded the whole fight, and so I got tips, and I came in and showed them, and they just more or less went out of their way to screw up what I was explaining we needed to do, so they could say that I didn't have the solution for it. We never did get past the boss I was trying to help them figure out, because they wouldn't take the advice I got, because it was me delivering it as a newbie versus the people I work with that were explaining it to me, because they're hardcore raiders. That's a raider mentality, and I hate to say that, because I know raiders and they're good people, but there's certain hardcore that don't make it worthwhile. If you can't raid and have fun, then why do it? I think that's the way I look at it. At some point, they will introduce LFR, which is, because right now they have LFG, which is looking for group, and then they'll have LFR, which is looking for raid. So instead of random, so I'm a druid must be the tank. I will admit I prefer healing on my druids, either alliance or horde. The other thing with raiding is you really need to know the fights, and some of those fights are really challenging. So you're you mess up something, you mess it all up. There's a Tiny Violin is a character that's infamous for wiping his run, not once, but twice on the hardcore rating, which is different than regular rating, because obviously hardcore means you die. I think the first time he killed off something like 35 hardcore tunes, and they appealed to Blizzard. And Blizzard, against, because when you're playing hardcore, you have to realize that hardcore means, so that's the spirit ring. I already have that. So that's the example of the no rings for me. Yeah, that's all of, I'll leave it here to drag you through my lines, because it's basically the same fight over and over, depending upon your role of what you're doing. But I have a druid that's primarily a healer, and I have a druid that's primarily a tank, and I have my 3 DKs that can be tanks, or DPS as the case may be. So with that, say hello to our friends at Chaotic Good Brewing here in Casson Manorville, under pressure in Golden Valley, south by southeast in beautiful Pie Island, or venues of similar nature near you and yours. Family, pet, kid, fun-friendly, fun-filled. Whether you bring it, find it there, or just go there to chillax. It's not your dank, dark, noisy sports bars. They do have game rooms that include board games, challenging games, bring your own card games, cribbage, Magic the Gathering, Dungeons and Dragons, and more. Check them out. Check out my books at sellersjr.com, my overall website, geekfengshui.com, and this channel, which we appreciate if you like, subscribe, setting of the bell. Subscriptions help. Likes really do help. It helps any video, whether it's mine or others that you watch on YouTube. Please like them. The dislike button does absolutely nothing, just so the trolls are aware that they still do. It's like the buttons for crossing the street that in some places are placebos. meaning they're not real. But anyway, please like the video. It does help. Yeah, we look forward to getting back into doing more. Maybe more horde heavy for a while. Maybe going back and do some alliance. Most of my 85s that I have are over on the alliance side. So I'm having fun on the horde side playing. And to be honest, it's kind of like unsheathing your dark side. As someone once put it, and I don't mean to pick on football teams, but I will. It was an analogy, and I'm not a fan of either team. I like both teams, but I'm a Viking fan. But it said the Alliance is like playing the Dallas Cowboys, and the Horde's like playing the Los Angeles Raiders or Oakland Raiders, whatever they happen to be. So yeah, it kind of tells you. So anyway, have a good one. We will see you in the next video, and please like. I think I said like and subscribe, set the bell.